to municipal docket. None. Public comments on the agenda items on. We have Marcia Cruz, 19015 Red Bud Drive. Marcia.
Billy, I can talk now because I want to talk about new business, or I can talk about new business, whichever is the pleasure of the board.
You can do it now.
Okay. Okay. Well, my concern is, I understand there's been a lot of talk about new businesses in town, and I know that our school greatly needs the funds to go forward. But what they really need is a sustained economic growth. And I think the board has done a lot of work to see that that has been happening. As the only citizen who showed up at the school budget, I understand from the report what the school needs. I understand what hopes they have for the coming year and what may not come to pass. I base that also on a master's level in educational administration and having been a school instructor when the economy was down, facing increasing number of students. However, I am concerned with the newest idea that may or may not be coming out of the port. I don't know, I've been out of town for a couple weeks. I am concerned that perhaps what this city needs to do in regards to the port issue is to get the lease back and then perhaps have bidders so that we could be advised that we have the highest bidder who is going to take over a contract for 51 years of history for the city of Long Beach. I want to commend the board for the work that they did when the presentation was made by the company coming with the LEDs. I would just want to, that's it.
Thank you, Marcia. There's no other. That completes that segment of this agenda. Approve the minutes of Mayor and Board of Aldermen of November 3rd, 2009.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
You have a second. You have a second for discussion. Okay.
Jim, I have a question for you regarding our minutes and the casting point development.
Okay.
I know we had discussed that we could not put deed restrictions on how that property would be used should they choose to sell off a portion. Is there any way we can include some kind of restriction that ensures us that we keep the proper buffer zones that they propose and the sidewalks and everything they propose like that? Because I know they proposed a nice buffer zone around the entire property and they said they were going to put sidewalks, but my fear is should parcels get sold off, would that new person want to include those as well, or do they want to take advantage of all the property?
Well, you could do that through the permitting process. You could. The problem with the deed restriction is that the deed restriction is in the title to the land and it lives forever. So if this board were to change out in favor of a group of new members 8 or 10 or 20 years from now, and that new board said, well, you know something, we're going in a different direction, there's been a change in the circumstances, a change in the character of the neighborhood, we want to rezone this property to anything else. If you put a restriction in that deed forever and ever, you can't do that. That deed is in there in the title and it's done. Zoning, what you do by zoning is by nature subject, it's supposed to protect the surrounding landowners, but it is subject to periodic review based on changes in the character of the neighborhood and things like that. So that's why I wouldn't do a deed restriction. Further restrictions about how you can maintain the buffer zones and all, you can just do through the permitting process. I mean, if they come with a proposed development, that can be part of the requirements in getting the permits and all, yeah. Now, you know, if they sell off half the land, there's nothing you can do to the new people other than you know, hold them to the same permitting process. But because it's not a PUD, we don't have the same control that we did over the PUD.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Planning Commission, November 12th, 2009.
Move approved.
Second.
All in favor?
I have discussion.
Okay.
Once again, there's a comment in here still regarding waiting on final draft, final revision of our Smart Code Comprehensive Plan. We talked about that 2 weeks ago at our last meeting, and I know, Mayor, we had said we were going to try and make some phone calls to see what's holding this up, because we still have yet to go through public comments, hearing on this. So I'm just looking for an update. Do we have one?
An update is they have not responded. The planning board has already sent them the changes that needed to be made. And at this point, is there a planning board person in here at this meeting?
I mean, I know we agreed to withhold some of their funds if they requested payment, but, you know, in 2 weeks, has any calls been made and they're still just not responding to it?
Calls were made by the person that was telling me going to withhold it, you know, until they did a little more work done. And I've heard nothing else from them.
Mayor,
Now,
with
you know?
no, I don't. With permission of the board, I'll be happy to call them in the morning, both here at St. Gross and McGuire Woods,
Okay.
and shoot out an email update. I would like to know.
And you might ask Frank,
Well, I didn't want to.
ask Frank where he is, because he's more in contact.
I don't want to call if they made a call, so let me
Well,
talk to
let me
Frank.
talk to Frank
Yeah.
first, because Frank, the planning commission chairman, has been in contact more than me. I just said, we don't need to, all in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Port Commission, November 12, 2009, special meeting.
I'd like to make a motion that we hold a work session to discuss this lease. There's still a number of issues that did not get addressed from our last discussion, and there's still a number of issues that are new that need to get discussed. And I just make a motion to hold a work session to discuss it. It's hard I mean, I can go through every issue once again tonight, and but there's a lot of them, and I just think it's questions that need to get answered and addressed that we have not been properly answered.
I make a substitute motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor?
I'd like to have discussion then.
May I call for a question? I think we have done everything possible. Our port commissioners have done everything that they possibly can. We need to get this business on the road. We need to get the tax dollars.
Is not to prevent this business from coming into our city. There's a number of items that have changed from the original lease that we received that the Port Commission has given into, and we have gotten nothing in return. A number of items. And there's a number of items that just didn't even get addressed. And had the Port Commission given me some feedback, or given us some feedback on the issues that we presented them to get addressed, we might not have to have this discussion tonight. But there's a number of things that changed from the original lease agreement that was presented.
Well, we have
But to respond to not only that, I went back through the lease and spent a considerable amount of time with my Port Commissioner over the last couple of days going over discussions that they had at the Port Commission meetings and with the people that the lease would be assigned to. And while I agree with Ms. Kuvion that there are issues that the Port Commission may not necessarily be happy with, there are issues that I'm not necessarily happy with, but I can assure you that there are issues in here that the people that the lease would be assigned to aren't happy. I think it's the best we're going to get under the circumstances, and that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Well, my 2 cents is, I believe that we should promote as much growth in our city as possible, but we need to make sure that we do not do actions today that will stop us from going further in the future.